Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for you. This morning I wanted to walk through a fairly common way that the perform message is used in Smalltalk. Now, not always the safest way, and there are drawbacks to this, and I'll show you that right now. Here I have the delete message that I have in my posting tool. This is part of the tool set that I use myself to post to the blog that I'm putting this screencast on. And when I delete something, it ends up resolving down to one of these methods, CST delete, or you'll find others in the other API categories. When I initially wrote this, I wrote support for Blogger and for a few other interfaces. Some of those aren't even relevant anymore, but at the time I was doing this, these were all relevant, and I wanted this posting tool to support a bunch of different APIs, so I wrote these methods. Now the interesting thing is if I go into senders for CST delete, you'll find it says nobody. And the reason for that is that if I come in here to delete, it does this perform for API, which if I go ahead and do the senders, or the implementers rather, of perform for API, you'll find that it looks like this, and does perform for API with, which is where the actual magic happens. So let's go in there. And this is where I'm doing the perform. What I do is I get the prefix, which is the API to use, so the one that sets CenCom Smalltalk, which is the one that I was using for my blog, and then other things like Blogger. So it would put a prefix in front of something, the CST that you saw in that message, and then it would go ahead and concatenate that with the delete message string. And then if it's a keyword, send with arguments, otherwise just perform it. So it's concatenating the message string and then turning it into a symbol and then doing a perform. Now this is a fairly dangerous operation for a couple of reasons, one of which is for refactoring purposes, you can't find references to things like CST delete. It doesn't seem to exist. It's only manufactured when you get into this code here. So it's a powerful capability, but something you want to be really careful about using because it can be really hard to track down references. In fact, in preparing for this screencast, since I haven't looked at this code in a long time, I use this stuff, but I wrote it years ago, I had to remind myself how I had implemented it. That's the danger of this stuff, is that while it's very powerful, it can also be a little confusing, especially if it's someone else's code you're picking up. So be aware of that. If you think you're being clever writing this, keep in mind that some other developer is going to come along a couple of years from now, take a look at what you've done, and probably be confused. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.